It's Mark and Paulette coming to you once again from the Two Travelers in Mexico couch.
Because it's raining outside today.
It is raining outside today. We took a little drive out and it was definitely raining. But we are inside and we're going to talk to you about our decision to move to Mexico and our decision, I think, to stay permanently here in Mexico. We did an exploratory visit
3 years ago.
3 years ago, and decided that it was at the very top of our list. We'd been to other places, Ecuador, Portugal, Spain.
Ecuador twice.
Yeah, but Mexico was at the top of our list. And so we immediately started making plans to move here. I was still working at the time, and so I had some goals to meet as far as that goes, and some projects to finish up. So that all ended about a year and a half ago when we packed up our car with everything we could get into it and started driving to Mexico.
Aside from a little storage unit.
Aside from a storage unit, yeah.
Little
and
little one.
Very little. We started out in Morelia and we lived there for about a year. And we liked Morelia a lot when we were first there. And I don't know, things got just a little different after about a year for us.
Well, let's kind of back up a little bit. Let's tell them where did we visit when we came out here on vacation.
Okay, so
where did we go?
We stayed in Guanajuato. And from there we visited a few different places. We visited
by bus.
By bus, yeah. We visited Querétaro, we visited Morelia, a couple other places
like
for a day.
San Miguel de Allende for a day. I think Hidalgo.
Dolores Hidalgo for a day.
Yeah.
And then, so we just, but that was enough. I mean, we really liked it. The first time we came here to visit, we actually stayed in Morelia for about 4 days, I think.
Yeah.
And Querétaro was about 3 or 4 days as well.
Right.
And we liked both cities, but we just chose Morelia to start out in. So, catching us up to present day, we stayed in Morelia for about a year. And like I said, for me, things just weren't quite the same there at the end of that 1 year as they were for me when we first moved there.
And I think really we were gonna have somewhere to call home for a year. And we signed a year's lease, and that was all fine with us. But we knew that we were going to be traveling other places, visit other states and things like that. On one of our trips when we went back to the U.S., we did stop in San Luis Potosí, and then we stopped again, and then we actually came out here again because we really liked what we saw on those stops for a couple of days.
Yeah.
And then we knew that when our lease was up in Morelia, that this was going to be our new home base.
Yeah, this would be our next. This would be the next point that we were going to live. And I think I've said this before, but I told you when we were in the process of moving stuff that I thought that this would be a long-term.
He did. He did say that, and I'm not sure where he came up with that because I thought, well, we haven't even lived there yet, so okay, I just went along with it for the time being, figuring that maybe we would go to Oaxaca because we liked Oaxaca. We were there for 4 or 5 days, something like that in Oaxaca. We really liked Oaxaca, so I didn't see San Luis Potosí being long term, possibly, but I was thinking more of along the lines of Oaxaca is what I was probably thinking.
Yeah. And I didn't really say anything else to you, other than mentioning it that one time, and then you came to the decision pretty much on your own. I think that you felt that we were going to be here for long term, and so we started looking for a house, and we have a whole series of videos on that, including the process for purchasing a house
And renting.
and all of the stuff that we've gone through.
And renting,
And renting, yeah.
because we covered
Hmm.
on renting, because that
Yeah.
was our first thing that we did. But explain why, why did we pick Mexico over Ecuador, over Spain, over Portugal? Explain the reasons why.
One of the reasons is that Mexico's close to the United States. If we had some family emergency, something that we had to go back to the States quickly, we could drive there for one, back to the States, or flying just a few hours, versus Ecuador, Spain, or Portugal. Flying, it would take you at least 24 hours to get back. However, that's not the main reason. The main reason for me personally.
Wait a second. And when we say 24 hours, okay, it's not that the flight is that long, but usually you have a couple of layovers, maybe 3 layovers, something like that, when you're coming from Spain or Portugal. So that's why we're saying that from the time that you get in the taxi or whatever, load all your stuff up, to the airport, to the plane, to the layovers, to another plane, to another layover. It's about that. All in all.
So for me, walking around in Mexico and walking in the central historical areas of Mexico, it's like walking in history in a way. I mean, the buildings are so old and magnificent and just beautiful. But that's just 2 reasons. I have several more to go through. The people here are just so kind and friendly, and even though a lot of times they don't have much, they would just be willing to give you the shirts off their back if they needed it. The whole family spirit that they have here, doing a lot of stuff with family, going out to parks, letting your kids run free in the parks, for several hours a night. There's just a whole different freedom here that you don't really see in the United States anymore.
Well, thanks to COVID.
Well, yeah, but even before that, like when you and I were kids in the United States, we could take off and ride our bikes and be gone all day, and as long as we were back before the sun went down,
Right.
things were still good.
Way back in the 70s.
Right. But that kind of freedom for a kid doesn't really exist anymore.
Yeah, I mean, back then there was no cell phones. I mean, some of you guys can totally relate. No cell phones. It was like, okay, I'm going out with my friends. I'm going to go bike riding or whatever. My parents would just say, be home by the time the street lights came on. When the street lights came on, you better get home. But they had no idea where we were as kids. But today it's not like that at all. It's a whole different world.
Yeah.
We're dating ourselves here.
Yeah. So that was another part of it for me personally, was the whole family culture. The family takes care of family. I mean, you see some amazing things here. We'll go to a plaza and sit down for a little while. You'll have little kids coming up selling bracelets or something to you.
Candy.
And they're just trying to make a little money to help their family get by, from day to day.
And who can resist a kid selling something, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And there are a lot of other smaller things too, but I would say that those are the main things. Oh, and the food's pretty darn good here too.
Well, okay, I'm going to go back a little bit. When we came to Mexico 3 years ago, we were here for, I think, 3.5 weeks, something like that. And, we just, like you said, fell in love with the people and the culture, the history, the beauty of Mexico. And we knew that we found our spot. We just knew we loved everything that we were seeing, and many people will tell you that, there's the cartels and it's dangerous in Mexico and you're going to get kidnapped in Mexico. You're going to get robbed in Mexico, all those things. However, I got to say that cartel just messes with cartel over a territorial
dispute.
Right. So, I mean, you don't have to worry about that sort of stuff. As long as you do drugs, as long as you do drugs.
Don't do drugs.
As long as you don't do drugs, the cartels are not your friends, you should be fine. I think that there's more shootings that go on in the U.S. than there is in Mexico. And the shootings that do go on and the murders that do go on, unfortunately, are cartel drug related.
Yeah.
I think for the majority that's...
And we have
That's
yet
true.
to be obviously kidnapped or anything else here. And
Yeah.
honestly, I have never felt unsafe whatsoever. And we got places, we do a lot of walking. We walk back to our apartment at night,
11:30.
10, 11, 12.
Yeah.
And we have no concern or no fear. Now, mind you, we do take the precaution and always be aware of our surroundings, but we would do that in the United States.
Right, I would do
anywhere
that
else we
anywhere,
were.
walking home late at
Yeah.
night. But so many people ask us, I'm considering Mexico. Is it safe there? And blah, blah, blah. And to answer all those questions, there are some areas I think that are more cartel-related areas. But for the most part, I even think people that live there are pretty safe as long as they keep their nose clean, And like I said, if they're not your friends, you don't hang out with them, you don't do drugs, you should be fine. And there's a lot of areas that are pretty safe areas. I think where we're at, San Luis Potosi is one. Now, I hear a lot of stuff about Morelia with gangs and stuff like that. We didn't really see anything there when we were there for the year. But Morelia is a big state. Michoacan is a big state. No fear here at all. In Morelia, where we lived, visiting Cuernavaca, we stayed there for several days. No problem there. Querétaro, no problem there. Guanajuato, no problem there.
Aguas Calientes.
Yeah, Aguas Calientes.
Zacatecas. All beautiful, beautiful places.
Oaxaca.
With any of those cities,
Huatulco.
as far as beauty goes, you can't really go wrong. Someone did ask us why we chose San Luis over Querétaro. And for me, it was pretty close. Querétaro is a beautiful city too, very flat, walkable, as is San Luis. And there's, for me, I can't really explain it other than San Luis just has a feeling for me that, that I wanted to be here long term versus Querétaro.
Well, we bought a house.
place
Let's
to
hope
visit.
we're here long term.
That's true. That's true. But like I said, Querétaro is a beautiful city too, and a fine, second choice if we hadn't chosen San Luis Potosi. Also, you particularly liked, was it Aguas Calientes?
Aguas Calientes is really nice too.
Yeah.
This is very nice. It's funny because you can say that, like hearing me, like, oh, that was really nice, this is really nice. They all have their own little, I don't know, their own little thing that you really like about it.
Yeah.
The town, the streets, the shops, the historical area, all that. They all are very unique in their own ways. So it's hard to actually say one over another. Like Mark said, he thought that we were going to make this a permanent place. Well, it turned out that we did. I didn't see that in the cards at the beginning. We liked it when we came here like 3 different times. But, since we've moved here, Aguas Calientes, a wonderful place too. Oaxaca's a really nice place too. I think it just is whatever you're really feeling, like same thing, like why do people, let's say, move out of California to Ohio, or why do they go to Idaho, or why do they, maybe not Ohio, but let's say, Why do they go to Ohio? What am I trying to say? Hello.
Wyoming?
Idaho.
Iowa?
Iowa. No, that's not it either.
Okay.
What am I trying to think? Anyhow, why do people pick Arizona to move to? Why do people pick Texas to move to?
Right.
Why do people pick Oregon to move to?
It's just a matter of personal
Yeah, it's
preference.
just a matter of personal preference. You know, I mean, there's a lot of places you can move to. Some people move not even going to that place, visiting, spending any time there. I mean, there's people that do that in Mexico, and there's people that just pick up and decide that, you know, for whatever reason, the state that they're living in doesn't work for them, so therefore they're moving somewhere else. Sometimes a job opportunity will take you there. Whatever the reason is, you know, retirees just, you know, it's not a job opportunity thing for retirees. It may be that they visited this place a lot of times and they said, oh, you know, I like the hot weather in Arizona, so I'm going to be moving there. Or I like, I don't know, Guatemala. I visited there a lot of times. I'm going to pick Guatemala to retire to. You know, it's just everybody's personal preference, I guess.
You just have to come to Mexico and experience it. Visit a few different cities. You know, what you like may be different than what we like.
Right.
You know, some other city may be more suited for your personal preferences and your style and all that. But there are a lot of cities in Mexico that for people to be attracted to.
Right. I mean, a lot of people like Mexico City. Now, Mexico City, we haven't been to. Well, we did, but that was only like staying the night or whatever before we were going to go somewhere else. We've been there twice, but just for like the evening time, the day, whatever. But, you know, I mean, a lot of people like the whole city life of Mexico City. They absolutely love it, and that's where they're going to end up. You know, we went to Cuernavaca. Cuernavaca it was kind of hilly, I would say.
Yeah.
Querétaro was not hilly.
Yeah.
Not really at all. Guanajuato was very hilly.
Yeah.
Very, very, very hilly.
Yeah.
You know, so those are all things for people to kind of take into consideration when they do retire, or go there and see how hilly is it for you.
Yeah.
Is it going to work? Is it not going to work? Are there too many steps to be climbing? You know, I mean, there's a lot of different.
Right.
What am I trying to say? A lot of different scenarios that, you know, again, might not work for somebody that has a problem climbing hills, or somebody climbing steps, or somebody, you know, whatever the reason is.
Yeah. It's just all, you know, you can get a bunch of different landscapes and terrains here, from the coast and the hot weather and humidity to where we live in the Mexico Central Highlands. The temperature doesn't really get too hot here.
Right.
The thing we have to get used to, well, we got used to now, is the rainy season is actually the summer months, June, July, August, September.
And you get your
into
little
October.
Storms that come in at night, the thunder, the lightning, all that sort of stuff. Some days it might be overcasty, some days it's clear skies and 90 degrees out. You're just never sure. It's always a good idea to pack one of those compactable umbrellas in your backpack, just in case.
Yeah.
But, you know, we don't have any regrets either at all.
Yeah, none whatsoever. I haven't regretted it for a second.
No, not at all. I mean, we just absolutely love it. The only thing I regret is me not sticking with my Spanish, and I'm trying to do that again.
Yeah.
I'm trying to spend more time in learning Spanish. But that's on me. That has nothing to do with Mexico whatsoever. But yeah, I mean, we have no regrets.
None whatsoever.
At all. I mean, we bought a house. You know, when you're a foreigner coming to Mexico, you pretty much got to pay cash for your house. You know, so we used a lot of our savings to do that, because that's how much we wanted to be here. You know, and we really hope that whenever we do a video, that it all reflects for our love that we really have for Mexico.
Yeah. I mean, this is. Other than getting married to you, this was probably the second best decision I've made.
Oh,
yeah.
And that's sweet.
Great. Now our viewers probably want to vomit after that, but
Stop.
thanks.
Stop.
So.
But I was more of a traveler before Mark was.
Yeah, she was.
I did a lot of traveling. I've been to Thailand. I've been to, over by the UK, New Zealand, Australia, Costa Rica. Oh gosh, I don't even know. Canada, if that counts, a couple of times. I don't know. I used to have a huge list of places that I traveled to. Can you remember any of them? I don't even.
Yeah, Russia, Thailand.
Oh yeah, Russia.
Some other places.
Yeah, a lot of places that I've traveled to. So I really had that travel bug in me. Luckily, he accepted it or liked it. I mean, we went to Ecuador, we went to Spain, we went to Portugal, and that all worked out really well. I mean, he really liked, those areas that we traveled to. And so I thought, oh, okay, well, this could work out really good for us, being a couple and traveling and that sort of stuff. Because you know what? It's really important that your partner likes to do that too.
Right.
If they don't, then...
And together you make good travel partners.
But if they don't, then you're not going to be traveling because that's just the way it goes.
Yeah. Or you're going to be traveling by yourself.
Or traveling by yourself with a
really
friend or something, or on a one of those group, tour things or something like that. But, if you can find your partner that likes to do the same things as you and is fine with moving, out of the country, that's a big thing. I mean, I don't even know what percentage of people do that. Maybe less than 20% will move out of the country. Maybe it's even lower than that.
Smaller number than that.
There's people that have never even traveled out of the state that they live in.
So, back to Mexico. Do you have any final thoughts? Any advice for people?
I say if you're considering Mexico, do some research, watch a lot of YouTube. That's what we did. We did that for every place. We did that for Ecuador, Spain, Portugal, so many places we were considering. We were considering Panama, retiring to Costa Rica. There's a lot of variables that are in that too. A lot of it's retirement requirements by each state and things like that.
Yeah, that is a factor too.
Right. So I would say, wherever it is, whether it's Mexico or somewhere else, go there several times, check it out, do your research, like by watching YouTube, by following, different bloggers maybe.
Yeah.
Asking a lot of questions. Maybe reading some books by expats that have written, telling you about their experience or something like that.
Yeah, I think I read over 20 books just about Mexico.
Right.
For me, I would say that, coming to Mexico, come here with an open mind, come here knowing that the culture is different, be prepared for change, and just roll with whatever comes along. It's like I always tell you, it's all part of the adventure.
All part of the adventure. And that's hard for a lot of people to do.
Yeah.
It's really hard for a lot of people to pick up and just move to another country, accept that culture. They've been in their own, country for 60 years, whatever it's been, 50, 60 years. It's hard to do that. It's hard to do that. You're not going to find a lot of the amenities the same.
Right.
Things are going to be different in a lot of ways. But you know what? If you're really wanting that kind of change, I say go there, be open, and embrace it.
Yep. Exactly.
And like I said, it doesn't work for everybody. There's people that have that idea that they're going to do it, and then next thing you know, they're back on that plane.
They don't. Yeah, there's too much culture shock or something, and they find that they just can't deal with it. But at least they tried.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
And our most difficult thing is, I think, is in communicating, because we don't have that Spanish level where we should be. And sometimes that can get frustrating. Sometimes the way that they do things gets really frustrating.
Yeah.
I mean, an example, well, that'll be another video. We'll save that. But I mean, there's a lot of examples on that.
Yeah.
And we'll give you another video on that whole
Yeah.
thing. What can trigger somebody to just say enough, or different things that you will experience that might not be real pleasant.
Right. And everybody's got their own personality, of course, but their own limits and what they can adapt to and what they cannot adapt
Right.
to.
And I'm not just saying this for Mexico, okay? I mean, like somebody that moves to Paraguay or, Ecuador, for example, just any other country. It's different. It's, Peru. I've never been to Peru, but I mean, I'm just saying there's a lot of different ways that each country does their own thing. That's what it is, and you've got to be open to it. You really got to be open and accepting to it. And I think people that can't do that are the ones that end up failing, or maybe not failing. Maybe that's not a good word.
They just wind up getting frustrated.
Yeah. I don't know, maybe failing's a good word. I mean, it's an attempt. They did it. They packed up, they left. That right there speaks highly of somebody to get that far. You know what? And if it doesn't work out, then, I mean, really, you're not a failure. You tried. You tried. I mean, that's more than most people will do. You really tried.
Right.
I mean, you got to give anybody credit that's willing to do that. And if it didn't turn out to be your cup of tea, then okay, it didn't turn out to be your cup of tea, but at least you tried it. You were in that higher percentage, or the percentage of those people that are brave enough to try it.
Do it.
Yeah. To just pack up and do it. And that's an adventurous spirit to do something like that.
Yeah. I mean, if you've done it, we commend you for doing that. Absolutely. Because it takes a lot to leave a very familiar environment.
Yeah, you're leaving friends. You're leaving family.
Friends, your family and stuff. You're leaving an environment that you may even have been there all your life, for 50, 60,
for
70
the
years or
unknown.
whatever.
For the unknown. I mean, you know a little bit about it because you've done some research, or maybe you visited once or twice. But you know what? Visiting and actually living there is a whole different ballpark.
Yeah.
You know, because you're not going to see everything. You're not going to experience everything within 2 or 3 weeks, or even 4 weeks. It's just not going to happen.
Right. I mean, for us, if living in Mexico hadn't worked out, we would have looked for another country to move to.
Yeah. But we knew for us, retirement was going to be
Mexico. Yeah, we were pretty convinced after having visited here, like 3.5 years ago.
Right, but what I was going to say is that we knew that when we retired, we were going to move out of the country.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, that was both of our things that we wanted to do. That was our goal, is to retire outside of the United States. Anything else you want to add?
Yeah, your closing.
My closing! And if you guys haven't followed us on Facebook, do that, because we post a lot of different things on Facebook. We changed our group. It's private. You have to ask to join. And then if you like our video that you're watching for the first time, subscribe to our channel. And every time we put out a video, which is usually on Sundays and on Thursdays, you'll be notified every time that we do put out a new video. And we're always open to suggestions. Just don't be nasty. And, we like to get comments from you guys all the time. So that's what we have to say about that, I guess. And as always, I blew you a kiss already.
As always, what she did.
Yeah. So we'll see you later, and have a good day, you guys.
Bye.
Bye.